What would happen if every human being on Earth disappeared? This isn't the story of how we might vanish. It is the story of what happens to the world we leave behind.
The fall of the once great History Channel is one that will be studied and documented in history books. Gone are the days where you can turn on a show like Modern Marvels that would tell us about the technology and science that was necessary to create the conveniences that we enjoy in modern life. These kinds of shows have been replaced with shows about people going around the country and looking for antiques. Shows about aliens and how they are integral to our lives even if we can't see them. Or premiere shows like Pawn Stars, where the previous mentioned antiques were then taken to pawn shops and researched and traded in for money. But when the History Channel did get it right, they got it right. But when the History Channel did get it right, they knocked it out of the park with specials like Life After People.
Okay, what's my biggest dating red flag? You know what's so crazy? I was gonna say men.
They're trying to make boys, especially black boys, into little white girls and emote just like them and talk just like them. And we actually see this in the, in films, right? In lately the films like the Woman King and Black Panther and yada yada yada, right? Where you're trying to make men express themselves like females.
Of course, it goes without saying, salute to Dr. T. Johnson and BGS IBMOR. Here they're speaking about emotional labor, or more specifically, the differences in how men and women emote. And in order to supply emotional labor, to have this emotional intelligence that everyone is speaking about, you have to understand the differences in how men and women emote, which they're speaking about here.
Yeah, that's the only model that's acceptable.
Yes.
To deal with your emotions, and the subtext is to be considered an adult, to be considered balanced and mature. You have to have, developed a maturity about handling your emotions. But the only model we seem to accept for that is how women do it. So if you're not emoting like a woman, you're immature, you're primal, and of course,
you're repressing your emotions. That's the hardest thing to actually tell women, especially, is that we're not the same. It does make a difference. The performance makes a difference. How we emote is different, okay? And just because you don't see it as emoting or expressing our feelings doesn't mean that they're not doing it. When I actually showed us Officers and Gentlemen, in like 10 words, they express a whole range of emotions in 10 words.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Sometimes in just a look.
It's just a look, yes.
Honestly, I don't really believe the not all men, because if it wasn't all men, the men preaching not all men would be going after the men that we're talking about. But they're not, because they don't care. Why? Because it's all men.
So I came up with this one night. I was sitting watching a movie. I'm about to explain it to you. And this is where I started to think about the way men demonstrate emotional labor. So Here we go.
Black men and their ignored emotional labor in relationships. Just had a strange flashback. I'm watching a film dealing with a married couple who could not have children. At every street corner they walk by women with babies in baby carriers, or receive letters from family members who have just had babies. At each instance, the wife nearly collapses in tears, unless the husband gently redirects her before she even comes into contact with such situations.
Dr. T. Johnson is about to explain his definition of what emotional labor is. But in order to understand fully what emotional labor is, it's important to see an interaction absent of it. And you're going to not only see it in this interaction between this young lady and Aaron the plumber, but this young lady already understands that there will be zero emotional labor coming from Aaron the plumber.
Yes, I popped my balloon because you're just not him. You are very arrogant. You are very arrogant, and you just Donatello, Raphael, Michelangelo.
My late wife and I lost 3 pregnancies, and all despite that she had to deliver one, and I remember damn near developing a radar-like spider sense to help her avoid such understandably devastating situations. To not do so could mean she'd spend several days in bed curled up in silence.
All of them, Master Splinter, you just not him. And I don't like your attitude, because you're not him for you to even have that attitude. I don't care how much you work out and everything. Where's your neck?
Okay.
How do you feel about that?
All I gotta say to you, baby.
Hey, it doesn't matter what you gotta say, because at this point,
didn't he ask me a question?
Because you always
Didn't
want
he-
to be disrespectful.
Didn't he ask me a question?
Let him get his piece out.
Can I talk now?
Like
You see how she's
this beautiful queen right here talking about she's not qualified.
Can
she's
I go now?
overqualified. That's one thing about it. She's overqualified. You're not qualified.
There's one scene in the film where she's reading her sister's letter about her becoming pregnant and starts crying. I learned how to read my wife's body language and voice inflections in hyperspeed to know when to listen, when to read it for her, when to change the subject, when to come back to the letter when she could better handle it, or when to catch her before she collapsed to the ground. Having been in that situation several times, I found myself anticipating that the film character wife was getting upset at the outset of reading the letter. I found myself gently mouthing what I've said and done to assuage her, and was amazed to see the actor husband saying and doing exactly what I did. And that includes him redirecting her on the street so she wouldn't see the babies.
Well, she's overqualified.
You don't add up enough, baby.
You see how ignorant she is?
It's no ignorance, baby. It's
Why
not
you getting
ignorance
loud, baby?
It's
Why
not
you getting loud?
ignorance when it's the
I'm not
truth.
getting loud.
You don't have to get loud.
I'm not getting loud.
And
Why
I'm
you
not
yelling?
either.
Well,
We're on
it's
the
my
same
turn to
octave at
speak.
this
We're adults,
We're
right?
together.
We're adults,
at
right?
this point.
Well, I'm not even saying that.
Next.
So how do you feel about that?
You're not him.
Instead of popping her balloon, I'll pop that fupa.
I already put. Guess what?
It made me realize something I've only talked to a rare few about: the emotional work men do in relationships that no one admits occurs.
Of course, you can see the difference between the interaction of these two here on the Pop the Balloon show and Dr. Tia-San Johnson. Aaron the plumber is exhibiting zero emotional labor, and you could see how defensive the young lady is, because in times past, he would not say the joke about the fupa. He would simply say, I'm not interested in you, I'll let this go and move on. But now, in an age where men are not even openly exhibiting emotional labor at all, this lady is on her toes from the beginning of the interaction because she knows what's coming.
Popular culture tells us only women do emotional work in relationships, but I found this to be untrue. The preemptive yet proactive work of protecting loved ones by both solving and preventing potential problems, especially in situations where the emotional toll of it could last years, of guiding, advising, strategically joking or teasing, changing TV shows or movies or avoiding them altogether, and sometimes engaging in strategic silence when most useful to her, to initiate a conversation or sex, remedy a practical need, provide a nominal distraction, tell a story sometimes related, sometimes purposefully not, or give a gift at precisely the most impactful moment is emotional work.
I'm tired of lying to people. Everybody be like, why are you single? Why are you single? Why you don't got no man? Cause I ain't shit, ho. I ain't gonna lie. I am not shit. I won't ever be shit. I'm not. I don't know what to tell you. Blame all my old business. I'm sorry.
It's inevitable in today's climate that some will call this controlling or patriarchal. Here, I find that certain patriarchal gestures are welcomed by women when it serves them, be it personal or political, but it didn't develop in a vacuum. I noticed that it was actually requested by my wife without words, at first with a lonely tear-soaked stare. It came to be something she relied on.
It came to be something she relied on. It came to be something she relied on.
Do you want to know if a man likes you? No. Do you want to know if a man finds you attractive? No. Do you want to know if a man respects you? No. Do you want to know what a man really thinks about you? No.
If you've ever been in a relationship with a woman, you understand what emotional labor is. When she puts on a dress, and maybe it's not your favorite dress, you say something that's going to make her feel better because that's part of the job. When she's feeling a bit down because of what's going on with her day, you sit and listen to her. When she is worried about something that maybe is not very important in your opinion, you put on a mask and feign like it's important to you. All of these are subtle things that are part of emotional labor that help young ladies live their lives in a sane manner because someone cares about what they're going through. But what happens when you remove all of that? You start to see interactions with young ladies that simply are just not as ladylike as we're used to.
Shit is ugly as We wear that shit.
It's braids.
Take that shit out now.
Are you being for real?
Take that shit out now.
Okay, what's your problem?
Take that shit out now.
You were dressed in the store.
But take that shit out now. Take that shit out. That shit is ugly as fuck. That shit is ugly.
though.
Like, just look at your fucking hair.
It doesn't look bad.
That's ugly.
Hey, please stop following us.
We never spoke it aloud. It just was needed and performed and thus came into existence. This is marriage after all, and such happens organically. It became like a dance we did that she trusted me to lead so she didn't have to keep putting herself back together again from scratch. Still, if you speak of it, even amongst men, she's been gone for 13 years and I'm just now acknowledging that I used to do this because of a damn movie. Hell, come to think of IT. I now remember holding her hand during these scenes there too when she and I watched this very film and distracting her with a random observation for as long as the scene lasted.
You guys okay?
What is she? Girl, stop.
In my opinion, I'm willing to bet, even though I don't know all of these young ladies' personal lives, that they don't have a man in their life that's waking up and saying, baby, you're beautiful without your makeup on. Baby, you're perfect the way you are. I'm just so happy to see you no matter what you are wearing or how you look, or even after a long, tough day at work. I think that you're the bee's knees and I'm just happy that you're here with me. What happens when that is absent for prolonged periods of time? Something that, as Dr. Tiasan Johnson tells us, is severely unappreciated.
Fellas, we must learn to overcome this silence. If we're valued and judged by invisible emotional labor performed in service to our lovers/wives, then we should speak it aloud and clarify its nature. Because it's damn sure critique when not provided or performed perfectly, despite that we've never been formally taught to do it, and women will expect it, never ask for it, but blame you if you don't perform it with flawless precision.
Another night, going home alone. This single life is ass. And don't get under my post talk about some. Just focus on yourself, love yourself, date yourself. I don't want to hear that shit. I really don't. I'm tired of it. Stop trying to tell me to mask my desires for being with someone else, that I should just be with myself. I've been with myself. I'm always going to be with myself. Like, it's me and her to the end of time. Like, stop it. Like, after a long day of work, I just be wanting to lay down. I want to cuddle. I want to tell my man about my day. I just want to hug. Like, damn.
What you're demonstrating is male emotional labor, right? And that's not being recognized because we're not talking about it. You know, we're not explaining it. We're not verbalizing it. We just do it. Okay.
Right.
And basically, women are about talking. Men are about action.
Like, how am I going to say this where she's not going to be offended by what I'm saying? And if she's the issue that I'm going to bring up, I got to say it in a way that is not going to hurt her feelings. So I'm not here patting her back while she's crying about the problem that I'm trying to bring up. Like, so you got to think about all of these things, and then you got to wait for the right time, because depending on what it is, you can't just come out and just drop it when you're ready for it. You gotta pick. You gotta make sure that, like, I didn't catch you on a high right now, like a high, like something great that's happened to you, so I don't want to blow your high. I can't catch you when you're already sad about something, because I'm just gonna just make it worse. You know what I'm saying? If you moody or anything, I gotta hit it. I gotta hit the pocket just right, that you don't react to it in a negative way, and you potentially take it in the spirit that I'm trying to give it. And once you got that down, it's still 50-50.
Look at the logical manner that he goes about trying to figure out how to give her perform the emotional labor. It's not I feel. Okay, he's actually trying to logically figure out what mood she's in, what time of day, how he's going to approach it. He's actually going through a very thoughtful, logical manner. And that's how men approach emotional labor, especially toward women. He's actually thinking about it. He's not actually just blurting it out, okay?
Right.
Or just emoting it, okay? He's thinking about it.
It was cool to watch shows like Life After People because we knew it was hypothetical. It wasn't real. So we could enjoy the show as something that might possibly happen in a crazy scenario that we'll never see. But we're seeing a different scenario play itself out in front of our very eyes, of life after no emotional labor. A growing number of young ladies that are emotionally kind of crashing out. I'm sure that there are some guys that are enjoying it. Me personally, I just think it's a bit sad that many young ladies are looking for love with guys that maybe aren't trying to love them because they have a abundance of options. And then at the very end of going through a series of guys that basically have their pick of the litter, they have turned to a state of anger at the world or even at themselves, instead of having a guy previous generations before that would have been a guy to experience life with, a guy that would have loved them from high school. But now that we're not doing that anymore, we're starting to see generations of young ladies living life without emotional labor. And now, finally, thanks to guys like Dr. T.S. Johnson and B.J. IBMOR, we can truly understand the real value of emotional labor. And from now going forward, men in the dating market, rich or not, tall or not, good looking or not, can put a value on emotional labor, because we can start to see what it looks like when women don't get it. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comment below. I'll catch you in the next video. Take care.